What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on what's really influencing it today and what shorts are doing. Before we get into any of that though, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid is down 3.8%, largely piggybacking off the broader market. 265 the low, 277 the high, and you're seeing relatively low-ish volume. So 79.8 million shares being traded, 113 is the average. These are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market. So one thing that's really causing a lot of stocks to go down today is algorithmic trading, because clearly this volume doesn't make up that 79 million all in all. And based on this, it goes to show that big money is not really lining up to buy the Lucid dip. You can kind of see that there was one for 156,000, but aside from that, everything else is selling. And the reason why institutions are selling and algorithmic trading is kind of suppressing the broader market today is because of data. So we did have PPI and also retail sales coming out early this morning, both better than anticipated. So PPI came in at negative 0.5, forecast of 0.2, retail sales 0.1 versus negative 0.2 for the forecast for that. So all in all, we're going back to 2024, and I've complained a lot about this, how essentially you didn't really know how the market was going to really see this. So in my opinion, which I'm not a financial advisor, of course, I like to look at the data, and the data is, and even with the most recent CPI, is all showing that the economy is strong. Inflation, of course, is going down. So you'd legitimately think that is a good thing, right? But you'd be more commonly mistaken, because the market wants negative data, and because that does justify rate cuts. It just doesn't make sense, because you see a lot of companies giving very good guidance and kicking ass in a kind of higher interest rate environment. So if they're able to do that, and the data points so far are pretty on point, on a larger macro standpoint, there is no reason to cut rates. So this is where I feel today is largely the market throwing a tantrum. And at the same time, this is kind of the first sign of weakness for the most part. So you are going to see a lot of stocks pulling back. Many stocks did go up quite significantly over the last 5 days, over the last 1 month. So obviously Lucid kind of lagged a little bit, but there's going to be profit taking. So I think that is what is really plaguing it. Powell also did have a speech today at 7:40, but there wasn't anything to kind of write home about. It was nothing really new or anything like that. Specific to Lucid though, no news, no SEC filings. This kind of came out, so it shows that they did participate in the World Police Summit 2025 in Dubai. But I think at this stage in the game, they are participating in a lot of things, but they really need to start showing investors that a lot of this is equating to more sales. So that's just my kind of 2 cents. But aside from that, there's no real speculative kind of topics, nothing really coming out. So we'll just have to wait and see for Mark's I think the next big thing is going to be the Gravity campaign that Mark did mention in the last earnings. That should be 1 or 2 weeks out. So that should be pretty good if you ask me. Hopefully they have a big hurrah, and that way people can actually start looking at Lucid, because surprisingly, I know I talk about Lucid, and I'm sure a lot of you kind of think about Lucid on a daily basis. Majority don't really know what it's all about. So it's rather unfortunate, because it's beautiful, amazing technology and all the other fun jazz. And one thing that I do feel further justifies that I mentioned that today is just throwing a tantrum and isn't really justified is shorts. So today shorts are returning 1.02 million shares. So again, by them returning, adds essentially buying pressure. They're trying to just hide a lot of their transactions through algorithmic trading when they're selling it off. So at the end of the day, I obviously see this as relatively bullish that they are kind of returning, but 28.22% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 347.99 million shares overall are being shorted. Moving over to options, 987,000 in calls, 107,000 in puts. 52% of all the options being done are bearish in nature. So not necessarily the best, but one thing I do want to share with you though, new information, is this right here. So 7.7 million call options were held by hedge funds at the end of Q1. So that did go up 54.74%. You do see a significant amount of puts, but the puts did go down quarter over quarter. So that's Q4 to Q1, 11.26%. And all 13 F filers at the end of Q1 did hold 28.05 million. So even that is up 50.27%. It's really hard to kind of distinguish exactly what that means, whether they're hedging or kind of what strike price is, but generally calls equate to bullishness. So definitely good to see as far as that. So let me know your viewpoint on that. But as far as what's being done today, you still do see a consensus for it to be above 3. So that's what the bulls are feeling. The bears feel that sub 250 is kind of realistic. So what's your 2 cents on all of that? With it right now at 268, it is trading between this R2 and this R1. So 264 is going to be a strong support, and it kind of bounced off of that general area for the low today. 278 is going to be the next strong target, and similarly, it kind of bounced off of that as well. So I think today's pullback is more of a technical one as far as that. So it's just trading between this R2 and this R1. So just watch for either of those to be kind of the next breakout or breakdown points, but no new analyst ratings. So that's kind of the latest ones right here. Obviously I bring that up quite frequently, but even aside from that, no real kind of news or anything coming out associated to Lucid. So I think now just investors want to know is like what's coming next for Lucid. We see a lot of big VP changes, a lot of big hirings, but still nothing. It's all speculation on what that does mean. But on the actual chart itself, still above that 100-day moving average. So that is sitting at 263. So that's going to be a key point to really watch for. 50-day moving average is 238. So Lucid's well above that. And the only thing that I wanted to obviously bring up, same as yesterday, is the fact that it is overbought. So the first sign of weakness, which obviously the data is the market's interpreting that as negative, you're going to see a little bit of a pullback. So that's kind of one thing that's happening today. But $2.80, that's going to be the next kind of breakout point that you really want to watch for Lucid to get above. So all in all, kind of a boring day. Doesn't logically make that much sense, as I mentioned, but a very good potential reason to buy the dip. Obviously shorts returning, and the data points still shows that the economy is strong. So you do whatever floats your boat, but let me know your thoughts. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? What's your kind of thoughts? And what do you think the next big catalyst for Lucid is? Is it going to be just their next quarterly numbers? Is it going to be like, what's your kind of viewpoint on that? And then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon. I give buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. So definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.